Alright guys, as you know, Anime Last Stand is updating very soon with a brand new godly update. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you the absolute best units to get before that update, aka the 4 units who run Anime Last Stand. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, as you can see, we are in the infinite and I saved up a good bit of money so I could showcase the units. I'm going to keep effects off because let's be honest, it's Anime Last Stand. You have 3 times speed on, no one's paying attention to the effects in this game. First off, number 1 unit you're going to want to make sure you have, Godly Gilgamesh. I know he's a pretty grindy to get, but I mean, like, let's be honest. It's Godly Gilgamesh. He has the best leader skill. His passives, like, well, let's back some out real quick. His passives are good, like really good. Because not only does he have, like, these passives down here, he's doing 1 billion damage, but every 5 attacks, he has a different summon, like a random treasure he gets. Like, there's only 1 unit that I could consider better than Gilgamesh, and it's Sid, because Sid's also broken. We'll get to him next, trust me. But obviously, a little run through of Gilgamesh, you know, I'll wait till he gets all of his nukes. But the heavenly treasures, every 5 attacks, he gets one of the following treasures. So he gets a water sword, fire sword, light sword, dark sword, nature sword. But after every 5 treasures pulled, the next attack will inflict rupture sword. But we'll get to that last. We'll go from top to bottom for Gilgamesh. So the water sword applies blizzard, which afflicted enemies receive 190% of this unit's damage. Soaked enemies marked receive 25% more water element damage and have a 30% chance to be stunned. So damage and support. Sunburn, afflicted enemies receives 175 of this unit's damage and have their movement speed reduced by 17%, and then causing enemies to take 50% more damage from all sources of burn. So he's doing Sunburn, which is 175%, and then plus 50%, so that's like 200% damage. So that's a lot, which is crazy because he's already doing 1.6 billion, and you thought he couldn't get any better than this. Then Light Sword, enemies get Bolt. So afflicted enemies receive 120% of this unit's damage over 5 seconds. If a unit with Bolt hits an enemy which is under the Bolt effect, instantly deal the Bolt damage and deal 50% bonus damage. Crazy support. Can't get better than Gilgamesh. Effect, which is the next one's gonna be Plasma. Afflicted enemies receive 155% of this unit's damage over 7 seconds. Electrified damage is increased by 20%. So they're getting Plasma, and then Bolt, so it's 140%. And then if he's getting hit again while they have Bolt, they're doing another 50% damage. Like, I'm not going to do the math because these are crazy high numbers, but I'm telling you, Gilgamesh is probably one of the best units in this game. And then Dark Sword, he gets Black Flames. Afflicted enemies receive a 480% of this unit's damage over 10 seconds. That's like what, 4 billion, maybe 5, closer to 5. Like, that is absurdly crazy. Nature Sword, apply Wind Shear, buffs all bleed sources by 15%. And then, okay, I don't have any bleed notes on my team, so this one's not that like crazy. I don't have any bleed, but if you had like Godly Sukuna on your team, that'd be really good for him. And then Accelerate increases dot proc time by 10% for 10 seconds, so it just increases the DOT effects. And then every 5 treasures, the next attack will inflict Rupture Sword, which Rupture, afflicted enemies receive 280% of the damage over 14 seconds. Every 7 ticks, this effect deals an additional 130% damage, 5.4 times total damage. The math is crazy here with Gilgamesh. Like, it's crazy. And then I can't max out Gilgamesh. Okay, maybe it's just bugged. And then Mutilate, afflicted enemies receive 200% of its unit's damage. Hemorrhage, 140%, and they get stunned. So that's 5.4 times. That's like 7 times. What's to say? That's 8 times. That's like 8 billion damage. And that's just that one passive. Deal 140% more damage to, like, this, I'm pretty sure this would be dark elements. Yeah, because he's light, so he'd have the advantage against darks. So 440% damage to dark enemies, which is the map I'm on right now. So he's already doing like 4. I'm gonna say 4 billion to be a lot more, but I'm just gonna say 4 billion. Each wave getting 7.5% damage and minus 2% SPA. Cap of 37.5% damage and minus 10% SPA. Which obviously I'm already maxed out on that buff, so we don't really gotta pay attention to that, but he does get damage over time, which is really good as well. And then each attack charges the Noble Special right here bar by 7 to 10. Once the bar reaches 100, the Enuma Elish ability appears, which is right here. I don't know why they won't let me max him out. Did they change it to where I have to max out the this? Okay, So I do have to max out this. I swear it wasn't like that before. Maybe it is. I don't know. But then Enuma Elish, base damage is 5 billion. If not used at 100 charge, charge can continue up to 300 charge. For each charge above 100, add 1 billion damage. So that's a lot. And then once used, apply weakened in hemorrhage. Gain 25% damage plus 25% range minus 10 SPA, and then 200. So if you use it below 250 charge, you have a 200-second cooldown. Above, if you use it at max or above, and then if you use it at 150 or above, so if you use it at 150 or above, it's 400-second global cooldown. And this ability disappears if charge drops below 100. So that we're just gonna do this. Everything's dead, and then this is what makes Gilgamesh crazy right here. Like, this is what makes Gilgamesh absolutely insane, which is his combined noble special Enuma Elish deal 10,000 times the current amount of damage and instantly kill enemies below 35% HP. Time stop all enemies for 30 seconds. Enemies that survive receive despair and hemorrhage and are slowed by 50% for 30 seconds after the time stop ends. Like, I don't know if, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how Freerun's gonna look as the next godly. But as of right now, Sid and Gilgamesh are like untouchable. Like, I swear these two units are like, I don't know if there's anyone better than them. Obviously, I don't have Denji. Denji might be better, but I have no idea. But I'm gonna wait to do this ability to where later on Infinite, if I start struggling, that can actually show you guys like the full power of this nuke. Next up, I know I said we'll get to Sid, but we're gonna actually get to his summon. Obviously, there's not a lot to really talk about. It's just a summon. I'm just kidding. We're not talking about this unit. Next up, we are talking about Sid, which is from one of the most recent updates, the summer update, which is from the summer part 2. I think it was summer part 2. It was update before this one though, where they brought in like the new summer units. So let's max him out. Boom. 2.43 billion damage. Now you might be wondering, how are they taking damage already? Like, how is this boss like constantly taking like little amounts of damage? Well, let's look into Sid's passives. So these are his nukes. Atomic pressure. Once enemies enter Shadow's range, take 2.5% of his current damage as tick damage every second until leaving range. Once enemies have been in range for the following durations, perform the following effects. If they're in his range for 10 seconds, increase damage per tick up to 5%. And then if they're in his range for 20 seconds, inflict permanent despair. And permanent despair is like, it's permanent, so it's gonna be pretty good. And for his next passive, for who is running, once a boss enters Shadow's range, inflict better fear to all enemies, deal 2% damage in range, gain a 5% range until the boss dies, cap of 25%, and increase overdrive base chance to 1.5%. He's not in overdrive mode, but we'll get to overdrive mode in a second. As a matter of fact, we're gonna do a mini atomic real quick just to clear out these enemies. Okay, that's not clear them out, but I'm going to Love Bean should. Yeah, all right, we're good now. And honestly, you can obviously tell the next unit I'm gonna showcase is gonna be Gojo, so I'm just gonna get there, max him out for his support because pretty crazy. I'm gonna activate his Limitless Void, which I will get to explaining all this in a second. I just want to get done with Sid real quick. But in Limit Breaker, every attack has a 0.1% chance to enter overdrive. Every wave passed, it increases up to 1%. And then each time Sid goes overdrive mode, he gains damage and range, cap of 10% each, which is pretty good. And then Deadly Rain, every 10 attacks deal 2.5% damage if enemies above 50% HP, 4 times within if enemies are below 10% HP. Increase range by 10% for 15 seconds. So this is every 10 attacks. And then if in overdrive form, apply bleed on top of other parts of this passive. So if he's in overdrive, it's everything plus bleed. So bleed would go with Gilgamesh's thing. Okay, it's actually pretty cool. I honestly forgot Sid did bleed damage. But we don't gotta turn on the effects because it's all the same. If you guys do want to see the effects for Sid, you can go ahead and go watch my Sid video I made where I actually showcased him, like I showed all the animations and everything. But then this is his mini atomic, deal 1,000 times damage, apply pressure and despair, gain 30% range and 10% damage for 30 seconds. And final atomic, I'm just gonna do this real quick to take these guys out, which as you can see, he just took out the boss, which had like 9 billion, I think, or 9 trillion, which is crazy that he just took it out in one tap. But final atomic upon activation, which is what we just did, deal 2,000 times damage, apply plasma and poison off that multiplier, gain 35% damage and 50% range, and minus 50% SPA for 60 seconds, and time stop all enemies for 15 seconds. So if you have Gilgamesh, Sid, and Gojo on your team, you have 3 time stop units. Because if you include their passives, are their nukes that they do, that's 3 time stops, which is insanely good for like leaderboard runs and all that. Which obviously Anime Last Stand, they don't have like an infinite mode leaderboard run, but if they did, which you never know, maybe they might add it in the future, but for like tournaments, really good units to bring for time stop wise. And okay, so I'm gonna do Gilgamesh nuke now. This boss is 46 trillion health. So the nuke does about 13 trillion damage, which is pretty good considering that in like progressive modes, no boss is gonna have like over 10 trillion. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you're doing stuff like this to grind like items, then yes, it's gonna be good. But I'm not gonna lie, 13 trillion damage is like an insane nuke. And then you have Sid, who has 3 nukes, so he has mini atomic, and then final atomic. If he's in overdrive mode, he has faulty atomic, which I'll wait till I see him in overdrive mode to where I can showcase that nuke. But I gotta keep an eye out for that. All right, the third unit we'll be showcasing, obviously Gojo, but not just unsealed Gojo. It's gotta be boosted Gojo, because he's not that good unless he's boosted, because I'm gonna lie, his damage is pretty butt. It's not good at all unless you have him boosted. So you're gonna want to make sure you get him boosted. Oh, wait, how much health do these enemies have? Oh, 11 trillion. That's not bad. So Limitless Void. So in case you guys don't know, he starts off with a time stop at this right here, where he gets Unlimited Void. Now he's Limitless Void. This is more spammable because it's a 40-second cooldown. Time stop all enemies in range for 15 seconds. While this time stop is active, he has a 60% increase to get black sparks, which is he does a black flash and does more damage, I'm pretty sure. Purple maximum EX, this is his when you boost him, you get this move. Deal 400 billion damage and decrease all units on the map damage by 25% in range. 25% damage decrease and a 20% range decrease for 30 seconds. Black sparks is unusable for 60 seconds. And if you guys are wondering, oh, what's that blue ring around him? This is infinity. So when enemies are in 100%, the 75% is use range, they're slowed by 10%, slowed by 20% when in 49 to 25, and then when in 24% and below this unit's range, enemies are slowed by 35% and take 25% more damage from this unit. So pretty good support unit. And then Black Sparks obviously does 1.5% damage. But then full maximum EX. In case you guys don't know what the nuke looks like, it's actually, you guys can go to my channel. I'll put a link to it in the description. I'll put both links of it in the description, one for Sid, one for Gojo. I made a video showcasing all the different Gojos that I had, even in different tower defense games like ALS, Anime Vanguards, Anime Last Stand, and a couple older videos I made. Those are for just in case you guys actually want to see the animations. But like I said, let's be honest, it's Anime Last Stand. No one's really paying attention to the animations. We're probably gonna lose this. So really quickly, I'm going to showcase the next and final unit once the next infinite starts. All right, last but not least, the final unit that is a necessity in Anime Last Stand. If you do not have this unit, I'm sorry, your lineup's just probably not that crazy. It's going to have to be Ultimate Evoed Idol. I know you're thinking, oh, that's obvious. Well, of course it's going to be obvious. It's Idol. This unit right here is the best money and one of the best support units in the game. So I'm gonna put all my units back here, because you're thinking, oh, how did her money just go up? She was just at like 800 or 900. How's it at 1,000? Oh, it's at 1,000. How is it at 1,000.04 now? Oh, it's at 1,000.04. How's it at 0.06 now? Her passive allows her to generate more cash based off the units in her range, plus 2% each unit in her range, max of 20. So if you put all the units in her range, it's just going to be damage upon damage upon damage increase, which is what you're going to want. So the more units you have in her range, it's just going to be a money upon money upon money upon money increase.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Which is what you're going to need to unlock. You're going to want to make sure you have the most amount of money, because it'll make the game a lot easier if you have a lot of money saved up. Now, once we can max her out, let's just upgrade her real quick, get some more money. You know, Bulma's good too, but not as good as Idol, because Bulma is pretty expensive and you don't really get her final like really good upgrade into her last one, which she does end up giving more money than Bulma, but Bulma's all around more like progressive friendly, I would say. But right now she's giving 92k each wave. But then obviously it's Idol. Why isn't she buffing damage right now? Why is there no damage increase? Anime Last Stand actually, like, before you evolve Idol, in Anime Last Stand, she does do a range increase. But now, if you do her ability, 15% range and 20% damage increase. So everyone's doing a lot more damage. How much is Gilgamesh doing? Concert, yeah, 28 mil. There we go. I was about to say the ability just wasn't on. So if I put on auto ability, like she is just, you need idol on your team. Like, I'm sorry if you don't have Evo idol on your team, but you have a bunch of glitched units. I'm sorry, but your team's good, but it's not the best. If you want your team to be the best it can be, you need to have idol. It is a necessity in Anime Last Stand to have idol on your team, for the pure fact that she buffs range and damage, and she's one of the best money units in the game, if not the best money in the game. So with all that being said, now you guys know the 4 units who absolutely run Anime Last Stand, and you guys need to get before future updates, before they get power creep, before, you never know, before Sid gets taken out the game, because Sid's only in here until summer ends. He's only in here for, I think, like 30 more days. I know it's a lot of time, but a lot of people just don't want to get him because of the grind. I'm telling you, when Sid leaves, you're gonna see him, you're gonna wish you had him. So it's just better to suffer with the grind. So I'm telling you, you might as well just get Sid while you can. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and recommend any units you'd like for me to showcase and or get in a tower defense game. Recently I have been playing anime power defense, so if you guys would like to see content on anime power defense, definitely let me know and I will gladly make content on that. But yeah guys, that's it for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.